Hello, welcome back down at the lake again with the with my S550 hexacopter. So since the last time, let me just straighten this antenna. There we go. So I've actually been out flying this this morning. I've already used one battery up here, but yeah, so this is the footage I'm actually recording last in the day. Sorry, just adjusting my hat cam, but you're going to see it first because I'm awkward like that, you see. So no, I just wanted to give a bit of a quick update before I get some camera footage on the go. So one thing I noticed, I said this rotor on the right hand side here was not spinning properly. It wasn't spinning up in idle, but when I got home and tested it out, I noticed that it was actually getting quite warm when idle, doing nothing, sat there, just switched on, not even armed. No idea what that's all about. I swapped over the motor with, swapped this motor with the back left motor here, and it seems to work fine. I mean, the motors don't always come up to full speed when idling, don't come up to speed when idling, but I don't think that's a problem. I don't think, without, you know, a laser tachometer or something like that to actually test the RPM on it, I don't think any of the motors are spinning any slower than any of the others, and I've not really noticed any problems. Now, one thing I did notice, however, was the compass calibration was way off. I'm pointing the drone due north, or whatever my iPhone says is due north, and it shows up on Mavlink as actually pointing east. So I turn the drone to the left, so it's now pointing west, and now Mavlink says my drone is pointing south. So clearly that was wrong. I've done some proper calibration on the magnetometer, and things seem to be much better now. So when I'm looking at the map view on Mavlink, turning the drone orientation on the map is actually matching real life. Well, you know, I said I use my iPhone to configure it, so I'm comparing one magnetometer with another. There's a couple of degrees difference between the two of them, but given the problems I was having before, I can live with that. Loiter mode, GPS hold mode, is now actually working fairly well. So let's get it up in the air. I can stop talking and let's show you. Let's just unplug my gimbal, because I don't want that complaining. You can never find the battery connector. There we go. Damn it. I've read of those XT60s actually disconnecting in midair on this frame, but I've not had a problem. That's rather worrying. It seems fairly firm on me so far. Okay, now again, you're not going to be able to see the screen here, so never mind. You know what I didn't do? I didn't get a screen recorder. I didn't get a screen recorder. Why are you not connecting? Let's open tower again. Okay, let's quit tower, and let's load it again. This is the kind of thing that I should probably cut in the edit. Never mind.
Connected.
There we go. Transmitter on.
Mode stabilized.
Transmitter power is good. I got this, got a little family, got a group down here, down by the edge of the lake with their dog. They're okay, they're not too far. Let's have a quick look, check behind me. We're pretty good in terms of people. So, let's get armed. You see now only two of the motors are coming up in idle, but let me just stand up by here so I can get a bit of better height. Hey, see, all the motors went off then in idle. I would rather, personally, that the motors are actually spinning when they're in idle so that I know it's armed. I say what, actually, let's wait there a minute, because we got some more people coming around the bend here.
Disarmed.
And this group are moving off down there, so let's just give it a minute before we actually get into the air. I don't want to scare people to death. I don't want people's dogs going mad, and this is quite a well-used area. It's a lovely sunny day. Wind is lovely and calm, which is great for flying, but not so great for me for being nice and cool, but never mind. So obviously there are going to be a lot of people about, so if these guys carry on and don't come up this path towards me, I'll be okay. Yeah, I'll wait. Now it looks like they're moving on.
Armed.
Let's get up in the air quickly,
Waypoints received.
and then I can show you. So let's get a little bit of height, get out over the grass, and let's flip it into altitude. Now altitude hold was always doing pretty well. That was never really a problem. DCM bad heading, it's telling me here on screen. I don't know if you saw that, but it's telling me DCM bad heading. Never mind, let's put it in GPS.
Road loiter.
So it's wandering a little bit. I don't know where it's going. I'm not doing that. I'm going to take it out of GPS
Mode altitude hold.
because I don't know why it's doing that. There's no wind. When I was running this morning up at the Keeper's Pond in Blenavon, it was working perfectly. GPS hold was working perfectly. Flip it on. I see it's not doing too bad. I can still control it in GPS mode, of course. It's definitely wandering a bit. I'm going to take it back out of GPS.
Mode altitude hold.
Let's just have a quick look at the number of satellites a second. 11. So we need 9 for a good GPS lock. Ideally. I have 9. Well, I have more than that. I have 11. So I don't know why GPS is going a bit
30%.
mental. So looking at the orientation on screen, it looks like it's got the heading correct. Let's turn. Yeah, that's looking okay. A flight data recorder is looking okay. No, not recorder, but the you know, my view on tower, which you're never going to see on camera. Whoop, getting a bit close. Don't like that. And that's actually doing quite well. It's drifting a little bit. I don't think there's very much wind at the moment. It's drifting a little bit. It's actually performing quite well. It's not doing too badly. It's doing pretty well. One thing I haven't done with this is I haven't balanced the motors. I haven't balanced the drops. I haven't done any tuning of the gains or rates or anything yet. So there's that kind of stuff I should do. I also need to calibrate. Oh no, I've calibrated the gimbal as far as I can tell, but I haven't tuned the PIDs on the gimbal. So PIDs, PIDs, whatever. That I need to do. So we're on 10.7 volts on the battery. One thing I have noticed with the battery on this is that these cells do seem to sag quite heavily. I've got my low voltage cutoff specified at 10.6 or 10.5, I think it is. And when that was engaging, I land the drone and I'm at 11.7, which ideally you want to take it for a 3S cell. From what I understand, you want to take it down to about 11.1 at the bare minimum. That's like 3 volts per cell, 80%. That's like 3.5 volts per cell, roughly. Or is it? Yeah, roughly, somewhere around there anyway. Yeah, these seem to sag by nearly a volt per nearly a volt overall, which is pretty worrying. So I think I'm probably actually going to be good to go down to about 9.9 volts under load. Because it's the resting, but obviously you don't want to take your cells down below. I would say the minimum is probably about 3.2 to 3.4. So splitting the difference under load, that's about about 9.9 for a 3S pack. So you see, I'm hands off the controls right now. Obviously it's drifting. There is a little bit of a breeze, but yeah, I can feel that breeze blowing towards me now. So hence why it's drifting there, just in altitude hold mode. But yeah, it's not too bad. We're on 10.2, 10.4 on the old, what's it called, battery. So we're doing pretty good. Let's try loiter. GPS. There we go. Where are you going? Nope. Okay, let's not try loiter. Let's bring it in.
Battery at 70%. Mode stabilize.
Yeah, sorry about that. So I had to cut that short then because it was somebody coming around with their little dog. I hadn't seen him. I'm too busy watching the drone to see what's coming behind me. But that's what I mean about this being quite a well-used area. It's a bit of a pain. Well, I'm the one who has to maintain safety of the drone, and I'm the one who's responsible for that and the people around it. But so it you know, it's a bit of a pain for me. But you know, this is quite a public area, so sorry, should switch that off. Put that back in my pocket. So yeah, I'm reading 12 volts now, but this was down at about 10.5 on excuse me. Tree's making a noise. But it was reading around 10.3, 10.4 before I brought it into land there. So I actually landed it in altitude hold mode, which I'm quite impressed with, but never mind. Let's get it back up. Armed.
Waypoints received.
Waypoints received. Wonderful. And you see, none of the motors are spinning now while it's armed. Never mind. Let's take it up. Throttle up. DCM bad heading is what I'm seeing on screen. Now, I don't know what that means. I'm going to have to Google that when I get in. So we're back up in altitude. We're reading about 10.3, 10.4 on the pack. So, to be honest, I'm getting pretty close to the voltage. Yeah, I'll take it down to about 10, 9 volts maybe. And see how we get on there. So, obviously drifting a little bit. There is some wind out here today. Very light though, very light. You're talking a breeze. But it's something that the GPS hold mode would be able to overcome, but not altitude, obviously. Because on altitude, you are entirely dependent on the prevailing winds. It's never going to be perfectly steady, perfectly calm even.
Low battery.
Now it's warning me about low battery. I'm on down 10.3, 10.2, somewhere around there. I'm just going to run it down a little bit longer because you see the problem is because of this this extreme amount of sag in these in this pack, the resting voltage comes back up to a point. If I landed it now, the resting voltage comes back up to about 11.6, 11.7, which is not even storage charge level. So I have to actually, which is above storage charge. So I have to
At 60%.
60%. There we go. So I have to discharge the batteries in order to get it down to a good storage charge level, which is a real pain in the ass. Hello, you're drifting a little bit close there, buddy. I know why I'm calling it buddy, because it's me at the controls. Alright, I'm going to take it out of altitude.
Mode stabilize.
Stabilize, we're on 10.3, 10.2. So, there's no wonder I'm getting such a low flight time, is because I'm not even getting the full use out of these cells. I'm going to put it in altitude actually, just because constantly tweaking the throttle there in stabilize mode is a bit of a pain. As is checking behind me and taking my eye off the drone. I'm also just trying to keep myself quite low because I want to just run the cells down, and should the worst happen and it does drop out of the sky, I'm going to be quite low, and I do have replacement landing gear, although it's going to belly flop onto the battery and onto the gimbal, so I don't really want that. So okay, now we're down about 10.50% is selling me. Alright, let's bring it in. It's probably as low as I want to push it, maybe.
Mode stabilize. Disarmed.
There we go. So obviously it's still going to complain like crazy. Now, hopefully, can you see this? We're reading 11.4, 11.5 pack resting voltage, which is pretty good. That's down about where I want it to be. So just shut up the beeping thing a sec. Shut up beeping thing. So that's not bad. That's not bad. Give me a sec. Because this thing is going to complain. Chat connection, data link lost, blah 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 blah, blah blah blah. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Let's unplug my radio, take my tablet out of here, so makes it easier for me to carry home. So yeah, I think I've got my low voltage cutoff set at about 10.5, 10.6 at the moment. That can obviously go down. I think 9.9. I'll test the cells when I get in. I didn't fly the first cell. I mentioned that I've actually done some flying before recording this. So the first cell, I didn't run that down quite as far. So I will keep this battery in the quadcopter. That's not a quadcopter, that's a hexacopter. I will keep that battery on there so that when I get home, I know which one is which. Actually, might be an easier way to tell. This is the damaged pack, I think, the one that was involved in the crash. Let me see. It's warm, whatever it is. No, this one's fine. This one's the good one. So the good one, the uncrashed cell, is the one that I ran all the way down. Well, I didn't run it all the way down, but you know what I mean. Let's have a quick check. Yeah, there's the packaging split. I'll get some tape on that at some point. But yeah, I have read that these multi-star, Turnigy multi-star things do have quite a lot of sag. They're only rated for a 10C discharge, which is fine. You know, they're 5200 milliamp hour cells, 5.2 amp hour cells. So a 10C discharge is 52 amps, which that's a fair amount. I don't think this doesn't get anywhere near that. I think I was doing some readings before when I had this in my back garden hooked up to a laptop. I think I was reading about 20 amps when it was in the air, maybe. So during takeoff, actually, which that's fine. That's within the range of these cells. That's about half C. No, it's not. It's about 5C, isn't it? Which is not too bad. But definitely need to tweak the low voltage setting for this. I definitely need to get some, I think some high discharge, some like higher C rated cells would work better, because hopefully they won't sag as much, or maybe I just shouldn't buy batteries that were on offer on a Hobby King, but never mind. Anyway, I've waffled on enough now. I am absolutely roasting. What time is it? It is 5:30. And I'm absolutely roasting. I need a shower. I stepped in a nice boggy marsh earlier, practically up to my knee, because I decided, hey, let's go around there. Let's go through that marshy bit. Yeah, anyway, I want a shower. I'm warm. Thank you for watching. I'm going now.